Hello, welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy, and I'm here to start week 24, and it's 3:30 on Sunday, so look at me actually starting it on time for where I usually have planned. I feel like the last couple weeks I wasn't filming my first clip till like Monday or Tuesday, so we're finally on a more normal recording schedule, even though we're only on day one. But I figured I'd do it a little bit earlier. I have a Fated Friend live show chat at like 4 o'clock, and then I have we're doing my birthday dinner with my family. My birthday was last Wednesday, so my brother and his girlfriend and my sister, we're all gonna go out to eat. I decided to go to I was going to do Olive Garden because I've been wanting Olive Garden lately, but I was like, no, let's do somewhere new. And I was like, okay, where is someone new that I've actually wanted to try? Because I hardly ever go out to eat. And then I remembered there is a place downtown called Scrumpy's, and I'll try to take a little mini clip while we're there. They are a cider bar, and I looked for cider bars when I had read the final book in Jackie Lau's Cider Bar Sisters series, and there's actually a couple in Fort Collins, which I'm not surprised. We have a lot of breweries, but I hadn't seen anything about like specifically cider, so I'm excited to try this. It serves locally brewed cider. I'm probably gonna get their flight. I was kind of looking at their flavors, and they have a whole bunch of different flavors, so I'm excited. I am a fan of hard cider. I mean, I've gotten woodchuck and stuff before, but I've never had like fresh brewed cider, so I'm pretty excited. And then they have like more normal bar food, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to find something good to drink, and then I was like, hey, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to have a drink. So if somebody could pick me up, just because even if I only have one drink and a bunch of food, I just don't like to drive at all. So I can Uber if I have to, but I'm pretty sure one of them will be fine with picking me up. So, but anyway, let's talk about things that are going on this weekend. I'm sorry if you can hear my dryer in the background. I'm on my final load of laundry. I woke up early this morning and went grocery shopping. I haven't been grocery shopping since I, damaged my foot on Memorial Day, and it's felt better, but walking around Walmart, I was just like, yeah, no, my foot's nowhere near as healed as I thought it was, which was great fun. But thankfully it wasn't too busy, so I didn't feel weird like limping through Walmart. But anyway, let's talk about books first. So, I mentioned this last week, and I also mentioned it in my June TBR. I'll link that up above for you if you missed it. But I had plans this month to do a favorite trope vlog. So I have read a couple books for it, and then yesterday afternoon I was like, okay, I'm gonna start a new book, and I was like, let's at least start a third one, and then we'll see what's going on with that. I just looked at my calendar. Based on my calendar, it will be up, so I will link the vlog up there. But it is for my favorite trope, and I went against plans for my third and final book for that. But I finally picked up Brutal Vows by J.T. Geisinger. This is the final book in her Queens and Monsters series, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. If you'd like to see my short but gushing thoughts about this book, check out that reading vlog. But I'm just going to leave it at that. I started it and finished it last night. It was like mid-afternoon when I sat down, and I saw they were doing storm chasing in the DFW area. So I put on that, and I started this. And then I didn't do anything really until this was done outside of get up, go to the bathroom, and feed the cat dinner. So I have finally finished the Queens and Monsters series. And like I said, 5 stars for Spider and Raina. I loved them. As for reading challenges, I was able to apply this to. For Gildathon, this works for end of a series, which gives me the 15 plus points. For Read the Season, I applied this to holiday number 7 for the letter G. For the Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo, I use this for character that acknowledges that romance novels exist. Raina has romance novels. She reads romance novels. And when Spider has his guys move all of her stuff from her brother's house to his house, he finds one of her books and they start reading it, and then they act out a couple of the steamy scenes from it. So, and then for Once Upon a Readathon, this just worked for the basic read a book, get 100 points. So no extra bonus points on that, which is what it has been so far this month, but that's okay. So there is Brutal Vows. Then today I have started 2 different books. So the first one we're going to talk about is Lady Love. This is by Emma Hart. This is the first book in her Aristocrat Diaries series. I picked this up on Hoopla. I needed an audiobook when I was working on chores and stuff this morning, so I started this. I was like, you know what, let's just keep going with the Emma Hart audiobooks. Surprisingly enough, I've only read like 6 or 7 books this month, but I've already hit my minimum of the 5 subtropes. So I was like, okay, do I need a sci-fi? What do I need? And I was like, I've hit them all, so I can kind of go just hog wild. I am trying to pick ones that have remaining missing letters I have to finish Read the Season. I don't know if I'm going to finish Read the Season, but I'm certainly going to try my best to at least finish Holidays 5 and 6, and if not, and then if I can also get Holiday 7, but we'll see what happens. I might have to pick up a lot of novellas or something like that, but I could potentially do that next weekend, depending on what plans are. But anyway, I started Lady Love. This is Gabriella, Lady Gabriella. This is modern day aristocracy, and her father is a duke, and her brother is the heir, and he's kind of not really mature or responsible. I guess he's off playing on some yacht somewhere and with the rest of the other heirs, just being his playboy self. And she cares about the estate that they live on, and she's really into gardening and horticulture, and she's taking some horticulture classes, and she has a crush on the new gardener for the estate, who's 30 years old. I'm not sure how old she is. Maybe I think she said she was 27, because she said something about she's 27, not 77, so she's 27. And her father is kind of trying to matchmake for her, but in the beginning it's kind of like annoying dad things, but then where I'm 33% in, he says something along the lines of it's annoying, basically. Those aren't his exact words, but basically it's annoying that the estate is going to pass to your brother when you're the one who actually cares about this place. And he goes, I want you to make a really good match so that you can be in a higher, or in an equal, if not higher position than you would be here, which would be Duchess. But she's super into horticulture, and she is crushing on the new gardener. So I'm liking it. I'm usually not a big fan of like class difference. It doesn't feel like it is class difference, but I haven't felt the like angst of it being a class difference type situation. But when there is class difference, I definitely prefer the male to be the lower class. That's just my preference. But so far it's had some of the same humor. Some of it I feel like is a little more British humor, so it doesn't quite hit as well as the other series I've read from her recently have, but I'm still having a great time. This one is definitely on the longer end. This audiobook is like 7 hours, and I think the other ones were like in the 4 to 5.5 range, but I'm having fun listening to it. I know this is one of her newer series, and yeah, I'm excited to continue on. This is another trilogy, and who knows, I might just end up binging this one as well, but I think at the very least I'll enjoy this one. And yeah. So there's that one. And then the other book, I did start it this morning because when I woke up, Cheese woke me up early this morning because she really wanted cuddles. So I was cuddling her and I was like, I'm going to read a little bit. So I have been looking to pick up a couple different books that incorporate the letter U for read this season. So either the title starts with that's the author's first or last name, or the series starts with that. And one of the options I had picked I had found that was on my short list, I ended up picking up this morning, and that is Untamed Alien by Luna Kingsley. This is the first book in her Barbarian Clans of Zavrin series. I'm only like 20% into it. I didn't get too far. But I'm interested in this. There's still some kind of questions on what exactly is happening. But this is, Marion is our Earth heroine. And she has gotten her younger sister, and they're like what they consider their other sister, but she's not actually related, but like her found sister, I guess, like a found family situation with her. They escaped from a compound, and she was able to finagle them passage on this ship coming to Zavrin, and they are going to be a part of the first human settlement on Zavrin. What they don't know is Bartok is our barbarian, and there is like the council in the fancy city, and Bartok and the barbarians, they kind of make a deal because there are no women left in their clan outside of like 3 elder healers. And so the clan's gonna die out. And so with the influx of all these humans, he kind of makes a side deal to get some women, for Earth women, to join the clan. And it seems kind of sketchy because this guy's like, you'll get one when they arrive and then one every 3 months. And what we will get in return is part of your land to house all of these human women. I think it's all women, but it says human settlement, so I would think there's a mixture, or maybe it's just mostly women. I'm not 100% sure, but there's very little supplies because they end up, instead of arriving to where they're supposed to arrive, these council members take them to a fortress, but it is wintertime on Zavrin, and Bartok and his clan have migrated into these underground caves because now is when this special monster is like really active, because it's harder to find food in winter. So then he goes after like the living creatures, the humanoid-ish creatures, for food. And so they're really nervous. They take supplies to the fortress so our leader Bart is the leader of the clan, Bartok, and then 2 of his guys take some supplies out. And the rule is that the humans aren't supposed to know that these barbarians exist. So they kind of sneak them some supplies so that they can like get set up, because they went to the wrong space than expected. But Marion and her 2 sisters end up not being, like, they run out of firewood, and so she finally convinces one of the guards to escort her out to collect some firewood. And while this happens, this is one of the guys that made a deal with Bartok. He punches her in the face, knocks her out, and leaves her stranded in this wintry forest area with like nobody around. And they have these like big creatures that are kind of cat dog like ish, it seems, but they're ginormous. And Bartok's thing, creature mount, sense something and is like super worried and stressed out. So he's like, you guys take the supplies for it. I'm going to let my mount figure out what's going on. And he stumbles across Marion in the snow, and his mount is like trying to warm her up and take care of her. So I was just like, oh, so it's super cute. It's super interesting so far. It's a little cliche a little bit, but I'm excited because of course, you know, she's going to want to be stressed. She's going to want to get back to the fortress to save her two sisters, because she was the one that and she's like kind of feeling some guilt because she's the one that kind of forced them into this situation, to kind of help them escape the compound. So we still don't know 100% what exactly has happened on Earth. And so she's feeling guilt because she's not there to take care of them because she's the older sister, even though she's 22 and the others are 20 and 19. But I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes. It's a new sci-fi author to me, and I like the barbarian alien, so I'm definitely intrigued about the setup so far. And I was looking specifically for one of the letters for Read the Season for an outer space with the Mars Needs Women trope for my Romanceopoly roll. So this will apply to this, so once I finish it, we can do our next Romanceopoly roll. So this one's less than 200 pages. I think it's like 180 or something. So I should be able to finish it later today. Like after dinner, and I can just get home and relax and read for a little bit. But we'll see what happens with that. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I talked about it a lot more than I feel like I've read in the book, but that's fine. So we will move on and we will do today's quest calendar. So if you are new to my weekly vlog videos, I have been playing the quest calendar. This is a daily calendar with Saturdays and Sundays combined that is a tabletop role-playing game, and it's a D20 based system like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, D20 Modern, that type of a thing. The 2023 theme is the Voidspark Chronicles, and this is sci-fi space opera based. So think Star Wars, Star Trek, Firefly, Battlestar Galactica. I'm sure you get the idea. So there is that. That's what it looks like. I have them always linked down below. It's created by Sundial Games, which is based out of Colorado, which is super fun. I play with the Hero Companion book. I think this is a really great option. If you play one of their pre-made characters, it has all the basic leveling up already done. It's got your character sheets. Something new is it's now in landscape. And then they also have for equipment and ship upgrades, these reusable stickers, which is super fun. And I will show you. Here's our ship, the Karnak. And then the character that I have been playing as is Zarilla Tur. So that is her. She is Urzin, and her class is a Mystic, and we are just reached level 4, which is super fun. So there's our character sheet. So let's do a basic rundown of the game, and then we will kind of move on. So here is Friday's page. Every page will have the script type font. This will be the story of what I read out. Typically on the normal pages, there will be a block or a box with some block font in it. That'll be the mechanics of how we play that day's page. And then this page specifically is a combat page, so it'll have this table that tells us either how many rounds, how many creatures, and the type of rolls we might have to make for it. So like I said, this is Friday. We are currently trying to track down some, I want to say rebels, but in Star Wars, rebels are good people, but rebels in a bad way, who have stolen a friend of some scientists that we were offering a ride to. And now we're trying to kind of track down these people and find this missing scientist. So right now we are currently exploring the lab where they all met. And it is a derelict space lab floating in space. So we've had some weird creatures that we've had to fight during it. So let's just get to it. And I should say, all of the information we need to play that day's page is on the back of the previous day's page. So you can't really spoil yourself, which is great. So, oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but we've got more creepy creatures happening. It looks like there's some tentacles over here, this weird green one, and there's a lot going on. So, let's see what's going on here. More of the shrieking creatures begin to pour into the hallway. With your exit path blocked off, you need to double back and find another way out. The creatures continue to pursue you as you flee. Okay, so number 1 is optional. Throw obstacles down behind you, which is a dexterity roll reminder, danger sense. 2, sprint down long hallways, constitution reminder, athlete. 3, push open heavy doors, strength roll reminder, athlete. And then we have 2 options for number 4. A is hide in the room, which is a dexterity roll reminder, stealthy. And B is shove your weight against the door, strength reminder, locksmith. So wow, there's a lot going on. It seems like we're on a race to escape this place. So number 1 is optional. Throw obstacles down behind you. Dexterity, danger sense. I would like to, especially with it being dexterity and we do have danger sense. So this should be pretty good for us. So let me grab my dice tray here. I have a little dice tray that I keep my dice in. All right. And to help keep them from rolling all over the place. So our dexterity is a +4 and and we do have danger sense, which gives us a +2, which gives us a +6 to our d20 roll. Oh, there is some more description before we move on. You have a chance to slow the enemies down by throwing obstacles behind you as you run. So a little obvious. So let us see. Okay, that is so it's a 7 plus 6, so 13. Yes. All right, so if the result is 13 or more, it works to slow the enemy down to give you a slight advantage. Gain a +2 bonus on all other rolls this page. Perfect. Okay, so number 2, sprint down long hallways. You choose to take a clear open path in order to put distance between you and your pursuers. They are fast behind you and more emerge from the doorways and empty labs. Okay, so this is a constitution roll reminder, athlete. So our constitution is a +1. We do have athlete, which gives us a +2, plus our bonus +2. So +5 for our roll. And that's landed on other dice and is crooked. Okay, that is a 12, so 17 total. Okay, if the result is 16 or more, your speed and determination keep you ahead of them as they move to catch up to you. Perfect. So on to number 3, push open heavy doors. A heavy door blocks your only escape. You need to get it open. So strength reminder, athlete. So athlete is once again a +2. Our strength is a -2. So those cancel each other out. So we just get the +2 for the bonus. And that is a 16. Okay, we are rolling well for our low one, which is, I'm okay with that. So 18 total. Okay, if the result is 15 or more, you summon up your strength to easily get it open. I'm going to say this is all adrenaline fueled or whatever adrenaline type substance our race has. Okay, so then we either have hide in the room or shove your weight against the door. I'm going to do hide in the room because our dexterity is a lot better. So we do not have stealthy, but our dexterity is a +4. So that with the bonus 2, so we're at a +6. And that is a 10. So 16 total. Okay, if the result is 14 or more, you stay quiet enough that none of the creatures can find you. You sneak away and continue to the exit. Okay, so it seems like we are on our way out of this derelict lab. Okay, the final thing we have before I wrap up is they have added a new mechanic. So on Saturday and Sunday's pages, there's this new little box called Sunday Lottery. And when you play this page, you are allowed to, if you so choose, roll 1d6. If you roll a 1 or a 2, you lose a little bit of money, but if you roll a 3 or higher, you gain a little bit of money. So it's always worth it in the long run, I think, to might as well try it. You know, the odds are in your favor. And that is a 6. So we get to gain 4 credits. So I will get that updated on my character sheet. And I hear my dryer's done. So I'm going to go pull my laundry. And I'm going to try to get as much of it folded before I have to watch my live show. But yeah, I will hopefully see you tomorrow on Monday. We'll see if this week is better. So far, we're off to a good start, but it's only day 1. But I will see you when I see you. Hello, happy Monday. The Nuggets game just ended and they won. I was tearing up a little bit. It's like, I enjoy basketball. Like, I'll watch the games. I wouldn't say I'm like a number 1 basketball fan. It's definitely hockey is my number 1, followed by football. But it has been so fun watching. I always watch the Nuggets during playoffs, but unless they're playing at the same time as the Avs. But this has been so much fun to watch them, and they just won their first championship ever. And I'm pretty sure now all major sports teams in Colorado have at least one championship now. And it's just, it's that much more exciting when it's the first one. The Nuggets have been around, they were saying like 40, this is their 47th season. And that's the longest in the NBA history to go before winning a title, which is crazy, but I'm kind of in my feels about it. So I'm going to try to do a quick update because I'd like to listen to more of the post-game stuff and just the celebrations. And yeah, because it's super fun. So let's do quest calendar first really quick. I say let's do the quest calendar, but I don't have everything even pulled out because I was like, I want to film really quick. So I'm moving things forward. Okay, so yesterday we were working to escape quickly and we were running through things and running from creatures. So let's see what today brings. Okay, so it looks like we are trying to quickly evacuate, and I'm guessing this is entering our ship. The Karnak hovers above the dock on the station. Brokvar is firing at the shrieking creatures behind you as you race to the ship. The ship's docking platform is extended, but you must jump to get aboard. So number 1, jump aboard the ship, and 2, pull yourself up to the platform. So this one hopefully should be pretty quick. So, alrighty. Number 1. If you have unsafe to land noted down from an earlier page, we do not. So jump aboard the ship. A dexterity roll, reminder athlete. So we do have athlete, and our dexterity is a +4. So that's a total of +6. And that is a 15. So 21 total. If the result is 15 or more, you leap gracefully and land on the platform as the Karnak pulls away. Okay, so to pull yourself up to the platform. But are we on the platform? Okay, anyway, so this is strength with athlete. So our strength is a -2. So that evens each other out. Oh my gosh, they're showing pictures of downtown Denver because of course they were at home. And there's just like people everywhere. I hope people don't riot because rioting is always crazy. And I never understand why like people get so excited that sports teams wins that they like start rioting. Like, I don't understand rioting anyway. I understand it more if they lose. And so you just have all this angry aggression you need to get out. I don't excuse it, but I understand it more. But I'm guessing a lot of big Nuggets fans are going to take tomorrow off. So, all right. So our roll is a 19 and it is what it is. So if the result is 15 or more, you secure your footing and climb up. You watch in horror as the shrieking monsters swarm the platform. They were close to overwhelming you easily. Okay. You know, that's kind of weird. I feel like this should have been an A or a B instead of a 1 and a 2, but okay. Or they didn't mean to use it twice, but or maybe because we did so well on the number 1, it just sounds weird. But anyway, we will move on. So as for books, Today at work, I did finish the audiobook for Lady Love. I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. Overall, I thought it was fun. It didn't quite have the same cozy, happy, same type of humor that the other series that I've recently read from Emma Hart had, the Bookworm's Guide, the Introvert's Guide, and the Girl Next Door series. I don't know if just because we're in a completely different setting, but this one is definitely slow burn. And I don't know if she's just getting away from having steam. There was a couple steamy kiss scenes, and then there was an almost moment, but they didn't have a condom. And then when they went to get one, she walked in on her aunt. And so we never really went back there. So just kind of throwing it out there. If you are someone who does not like clean or low steam romances, this does not have a pop, which is the put out percentage. And I like that term. That's from, Buzzing About Romance, their podcast. They use the pop instead of like saying how steamy things is and rating with chili peppers. They give you like when we have full on smexy times. So like I said, 3.5. I felt like my biggest like detractor was, there's two things. One of them is the classism stuff is really discussed, and I understand why, because she isn't an aristocrat and he is a commoner. But for it being modern day, I either wanted them to get into it more or not deal with it as much. Like, it just kind of felt like things were unfinished, and either they should have just been like, I understand it's a thing, but we don't care. Or they should have like really taken the time, I think, to work through whatever insecurities both of them have about the relationship relating to being of different classes. I was just like, why even bring it up? Like, I felt like it would have been more not necessarily the class, but that he is hired to work for them. So that's also another line that's, you have to deal with getting crossed. And I know that there are people like this, but it just felt like Gabriella has flaws, but they're very silly flaws. Like, she can get clumsy and things like that, like little things like that. But it's like, otherwise, she's seen as this like paragon, this perfect person. She's always nice. She's always thinking of everybody. And not that you can't be that, but but we didn't really see any moments where she wasn't this like perfect aristocrat. And at times it felt like she was putting on a front. Like, she was always on. And being that, I mean, there's even a joke mentioned that she's like 130 people away from like being number one in line or something like that, or being the next Queen of England. So it just like, if you're the queen, or if you're like one of the like top tier royals, I can see always kind of feeling like you have to be on. But I don't know, it just felt off to me. And then we also had this weird random through line where she was bullied, and then her bully comes back to town when she was in like elementary and middle school, because this person hated her because she was jealous that she was born into an aristocratic family, but she didn't actually hate her as a person. She just hated her standing in life because she was jealous of it. And I'm like, why is this person coming up? And then, I don't know, it just didn't quite give me what I was hoping for and what I had come to expect from the previous books of Emma Hart I've read. So I feel like I had a really good run of really good Emma Hart books. And I think I might have mentioned this before, but before I started those 3 more recent series, in the past, she has been kind of for me at times. And this is one of those books. even with it being a newer release. But I am intrigued. There's 2 other books in this series, and book 2 and 3 seem like they're both people kind of on the same level, money aristocracy wise. The next one is Gabriella's cousin and one of her best friends who is a twin, and she is like took classes to become a teacher, but now she's working on like a Tudor era novel, and his daughter, who he had at 19, but he didn't get married, but he did have his daughter, but then her mother, I think, has since passed away. But I guess she has autism, and so he approached Gabriella's friend to help with some like one-on-one tutoring, because it seemed like she had, when she was taking classes to become a teacher type thing, she had some classes with dealing with people who might be on the spectrum, or there was a mention that she might be on the spectrum herself or something like that. So I wasn't 100% sure what was going on, because I was finishing this book as we were kind of ending the day today. So there was a lot going on. And then the third book is the other twin sister, and I guess she has like a marriage of convenience type situation. But so this one is like the second one is like she's tutoring his daughter and they're hanging out, but then they end up wanting, like, pretending to date each other to kind of keep people from like trying to couple up with them situation. So it seems like it's fake dating with benefits, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. That might actually might also have more steam, but who knows? So I'll probably pick him up at some point. But I'm not feeling like I need to pick him up right away like I have with her previous books. So, as for reading challenges, for Gildathon, I use this for Andante, which is a slow burn or a slower pace book. For Read the Season, I applied this to holiday number 7 for the letter E. For Feels Like Summer, I use this for audiobook. For the Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo, I use this for alliterative title. And then for Once Upon a Readathon, this also just works for the base of 100 points for reading a book. So there is that. Then they're doing fireworks in downtown Denver. That's cool. Untamed Alien. I am at 50%. I got through 50% last night. I haven't really read much more, but I'll probably try to finish it tonight. According to my Kindle, I have less than an hour left, so I'll probably just put on the post-game shows and then read in bed and then just crash. So as for that, he kind of did this like wedding ceremony with Marion, I think is her name. Marion. And then they consummate, and they were both virgins, but he like cannot control himself, so he's very rough with her. She hasn't had an orgasm with him yet. And she randomly runs in, so she's like escaping. One of the older like healer women was like, let's get some fresh air, because he's like so nervous about something happening to her that he's practically like keeping her locked in her own little cavern, their room in this cave system. But this other woman's like, let's go out for some fresh air. And so they kind of go on a ride, and they borrow one of the like creature mount things, which I guess are like giant cat type creatures. And then she enjoys it so much, and she gets like stressed out and lonely and like antsy from being stuck in this cave. She's been escaping and just like going for a ride, but this creature's like keep like taking care of her. and kind of knows the way to this little riverbank area and then running back. And she oversees 2 other aliens going at it. And then she approaches this other alien, and it turns out she's the daughter of another barbarian clan who's the one that is, her father's trying to broker a marriage between her and Brotak to do an alliance between the clans. But Brotak didn't really want that because they'd end up giving up more than he was comfortable giving up for the clan. And Marion is just like, starts talking to this lady who she doesn't know on an alien planet, and starts talking to her about her love life, basically. And they're talking about learning how to, like, and she's just like, well, you know, have you found your pleasure type of questions? And I'm like, okay, first of all, even if this person is human, what do you know about humans? How do you know that human and your, I don't even know what race, I guess, these aliens are called. But this barbarian woman, how do you know? Like, it's talked about how they're humanoid, but they don't seem very unhuman, but they're definitely alien in some of their colorings. But outside of that, I'm like, what do you know about humans? How do you know that the human physiology is the same or different? Like, how, let alone, how are you comfortable just talking about this with this human woman? And I mean, I'm glad it doesn't seem like it's a trick kind of a thing, but I'm just like, why are you opening up to this lady? Like, if you are managing to get yourself free, I am really surprised that she's not trying to make it back to the fortress to get her 2 sisters. And she did finally convince Brotek to, well, she didn't have to convince him. She just had to tell them, I don't know. They just start talking to each other, and he gets nervous, and then he doesn't know what to say, and then he says the wrong thing, and then he just like storms off because he's so upset with himself. And so there's like no real communication between them, and he's like very dismissive of her, but because he's like, I don't understand her. I don't understand what she wants or what she needs from me. But instead of asking her, he's just like, I don't know what to do, and then does nothing. So, and then she's just like pouty, but she's trying to be strong. And this feels like it was inspired by like Ice Planet Barbarians and a couple of those other barbarian ones that got popular. But I feel like character depth isn't quite there all the way for me. So right now it's sitting at like a 3-star. So we'll see how it goes. I'm intrigued enough to keep reading and seeing what kind of happens. We still have dealing with these council people, but I'm just like, they've had relations multiple times at this point, but we still haven't had good relations. And it takes her multiple times for her to finally be like, will you stay? Why are you leaving right after? Type of situation. So I don't know. It's just not quite hitting what I want from an alien romance, but we're gonna keep going. So hopefully I'll finish that tonight and then I can move on. Then, the other thing is I wanted a new audiobook that I could start, and I was looking at what I have left for read this season, and I have a couple more letter U's. So it took me, I had to do a little bit of research, and I just kind of went through Hoopla's romance audiobooks, and I just sorted them by title and was looking through the U's, and I was looking for something shorter, but nothing really sounded good, so I ended up going with a little bit longer one. It's like 8 to 9-ish hours. And it is called Under a Georgia Moon. This is by Cindy Rowland Anderson. This is the first book in her Georgia Moon romance series. And this sounded kind of cute. So I am only like 10% into this before the Nuggets game started. But so it's Addie and it will be Chase. But Addie had just been dumped by her fiance, and then she's still kind of struggling from the sudden breakup, and then she finds out that it's now a couple months after their breakup, and he is now married the woman that he basically broke up with her for. And so she's just really struggling, and I think they're in like Iowa, and her father is from Georgia, and her aunt is still in Georgia. So during the 2 weeks off that she originally took off from work to go on her honeymoon, she has just decided she's going to go down to her aunt's and see her aunt. And then, according to the blurb, her aunt's next door neighbor, Chase, who her aunt has been trying to like hook her up with, she's tasking him to go pick up Addie from the airport because he's going to like the main town, I think Savannah, the capital city, or wherever the airport is in Georgia, and they're more a small town. So he's going to pick her up while he's in the city and then bring her back to her grandma. And then it seems like they kind of put together a fake dating thing. But he's an aspiring country singer. So it sounded super cute. I started reading it, and there's a lot of talk about like church and church singles groups and Bible study groups. And so this is a Christian romance, and I had no idea. I did not see the tags for that, which is fine, but this is also probably going to have like no steam in it. But the premise still sounds cute, and I can listen to it on audiobook. I'll feel less weird about listening to it at work if I decide to listen to it at work, but I'm going to roll with it for now and kind of see how it goes. I'm glad I found out now, though, before I got too deep into it, because I need to set my expectations. Like, I have read some clean romances, no steam romances, and I have really enjoyed them. I actually own some of the ones by Jennifer Shirk because I loved them so much. I bought them in paperback. But I don't typically go for the Christian romance ones because I myself am not super religious. So we'll see how it goes, how religious aspect it is. She has talked about, she was crushing on one of the guys at church, and she's done these church group activities and situations. So as long as it's not too overtly religious and just more like kind of like how I see like True Blood or those other really southern based things where it's just like it's normal, everybody goes to church, but it's not like trying to teach you morals or things like that. I hope that makes sense. But so yeah, we'll see how it goes, but so far it's been pretty cute. I'm really interested, though, to see once we get Chase and Addie together and she's actually in Georgia, how things are going to go. So it seems like that's kind of right around the corner from where I'm at in the audio book. So there is that. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention today is I noticed earlier this morning that the new Romance Readers Reading Challenges group quarterly challenge has been posted. They typically have, I think, 2 quarterly challenges. One is Read the Season, which is doing the season and some holidays in a different language. And then we have the more themed one. So I wanted to go over the theme one for you just for fun. Since it's starting in the middle of the month, I always touch base on them in my monthly TBRs and things. But the theme for this one is like music tours in 2023. So I'm pretty sure most of the tours that these prompts are based off of are for like tours that are going to be happening this summer specifically. So I will link the Romance Readers Reading Challenges group on Goodreads down below. I think that they come up with a lot of fun things. So this is, once again, they have different levels. You can do as little or as much as you want. Level 1 is 5 to 10 books. Level 2 is 11 to 15. 3 is 20 to 25. 4 is 26 to 30, and level 5, your highest level, is 31 to 35. There are 35 specific prompts, and then they always offer bonus options. So, the 35 prompts. Number 1, Beyonce Renaissance World Tour 2023. A standalone, so read a book that's a standalone or with a single or unattached character or one person on the cover. Number 2, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour. Read a book by an author you are obsessed with, or you would pre-order, or you are excited to read it. Number 3, Blackpink, Born Pink Tour. Read a book with black or pink on the cover, or that is dark or romantic. Number 4, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Australian Tour 2023. Read a book with a steamy storyline or that is set in Australia. Number 5, Janet Jackson, Together Again. Read a book with a second chance romance or with an author that has repeating letters or initials. Number 6 is Lizzo, The Special Tour. Read a book with a one-word title or with a character who plays an instrument. Number 7, Arctic Monkeys World Tour 2023. Read a book with an animal on the cover or in the story, or read a book set in a cold climate or month. Number 8, Elton John, The Elton Farewell Tour. Read a book with a flamboyant or colorful character or with a colorful cover. Number 9, Harry Styles, The Love Tour. Read a book with a character or setting that's in the movie business or with the word watermelon or sugar or high in the title or the series name. 10 is Metallica, the M72 World Tour. Read a book with the letter M in the title or author's name, or a book with a silver or gold on the cover. 11 is Journey, the Freedom Tour. Read a book with a road trip romance or with a character who gains a freedom of some kind. 12, Madonna, the Celebration Tour. Read a book that's a holiday romance or with a celebration in the story. 13, the Bruce Springsteen 2023 Tour. Read a book set in the USA or with a character or author who's born in the USA. 14, Diana Ross, The Musical Legacy Tour 2023. Read a book that's insta-love or one you hope never ends. 15, the All-American Rejects Wet Hot All-American Summer Tour. Read a book set in a warm climate or month or has water on the cover or in the story. 16, Zac Brown Band from the Fire Tour. Read a book with a light source on the cover or with a rating over 4.0. Number 17, Alicia Keys, Keys to the Summer Tour. Read a book with a building on the cover or by an author with the key to your heart. 18, The Chicks World Tour 2023. Read a book set on a farm or ranch or with a character that makes you feel warm and fuzzy. 19, Pink Summer Carnival 2023 Tour. Read a book with food or drink on the cover, bonus if it's cotton candy or popcorn, or with a character that has an unusual profession. 20, Smashing Pumpkins, The World is a Vampire Tour. Read a book that's a paranormal or that has a destructive character. 21, Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind, and Fire, Sing a Song All Night Long Tour. Read a book with a sky on the cover or you want to stay up all night to read. 22, Guns N' Roses, the 2023 World Tour. Read a book with a character who has or has been in the military or a book that has a weapon on the cover. 23, Peter Gabriel, the I/O, the Tour. Read a book with a character with a blue-collar job or with blue on the cover. Maroon 5, 2023 Tour. Read a book with a character that's marooned or stranded somewhere or with the number 5 in the page count or publication date. 25, Depeche Mode, Memento Mori World Tour. Read a book with dance in the story or that has won an award. Def Leppard and Motley Crue, The World Tour 2023. Read a book by a writing duo or part of a duology or that is second in a series. 27, Hans Zimmer Live, Europe Tour 2023. Read a book that has or will be made into a movie or you think would make a great movie. 28, The Weekend After Hours Till Dawn Tour. Read a book with a color of the sunrise on the cover, yellow, orange, or red, or a book you can read in one weekend. So 29, Sting My Songs Tour. Read a book that is a suspense or a mystery, or with a character you wouldn't stand too close to. Okay, number 30, Muse, Will of the People Tour 2023. Read a book with more than one person on the cover or that is a part of a large series, which they're counting as 5 or more books. 31, Andre Rieu, World Tour. Read a book set in Western Europe or a historical romance. 32, Imagine Dragons World Tour. Read a book with a shapeshifter. Read a fantasy. Read a book with an apocalyptic setting, or read a book with a character who is toxic. 33, Blink-182 Edging World Tour. Read a book with eyes on the cover, or a story you think will be so good it's over in the blink of an eye. 34, Charlie Puth, The Charlie Live Experience. Read a book with time travel, or a second chance story, or read a book with glasses or a mirror on the cover. 35, Jonas Brothers, The Jonas Brothers Tour. Read a book with siblings or family in the story, or read a book that's part of a trilogy. So those are the 35 main prompts. Then you can also do bonus prompts. So this is name a favorite artist or group and choose them and any other song titles that you would like to read, and read a book that is somehow related to them. So this one's a little more loosey-goosey for what you want to do with it. You could just do one person. You could do a bunch of their songs, whatever you want to do. So I decided to do my favorite group, Super Junior. And so I kind of went a little crazy. And right now I'm sitting at 52 total prompts. So we have Super Junior, who is a K-pop boy group who debuted in 2005. I have been a fan of theirs since 2008. So I will want to do a book that is somehow related to them. I'm kind of thinking they started off with 13 members. So I'm thinking a book with a large ensemble cast type situation or something like that. So I can kind of be a little loosey-goosey with it, which is great. Then I decided to completely nerd out, and Super Junior has 5 different subgroups. And I actually pulled some of my CDs that I have of them. I couldn't find a couple of them, which made me sad. So I think they've been lost to the ether from moving so much, which is really sad. So I have to replace some of the CDs I'm missing. But so we have Super Junior Happy. So here's one of the Super Junior Happy ones. So I think this one would be super easy because just a book that makes you happy. They have very like bubblegummy pop fun feel good songs. Then we have Super Junior D and E, so Donghae and Eunhyuk, which are 2 of the members. And so I think this would be great for like duology, writing duos, 2 people on cover, anything kind of similar along those lines. Or even like friends to lovers because they're best friends. Then we have Super Junior KRY for Kyuhyun, Rowook, and Yaesung. And this is the 3 like main vocalists. And so most of these songs are ballads and very slow. So I think like a slow burn or something like that. Or something that like makes you cry. would work for that. Then we have Super Junior M, which stands for Super Junior Mandarin. And this is where we have the 13 plus 2 because the Super Junior members, some of them were pulled to make Super Junior M. And then we added Zomi and Henry. So this, I think, would be fun to read like with either by a Chinese author or a Chinese main character, or even like an add-on book, like if they were originally planning on writing like 3 books and then people loved a side character so much that they had to add on an extra book type situation, might also work for this. And then I don't know where, I'm very sad I could not find it, but there's Super Junior T, which stands for Trot. And Rokugo, and oh my gosh. So Trot is like classic Korean pop music. So I don't know. I feel like it could be historical. I could just go strictly like Asian historical romance or something like that. Or something more like classic type feeling. So I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing for this one. But so those are the 5 subgenres of Super Junior. And then my nerdy self wanted to do, instead of just picking a song, I'm going to pick a song off of each of the 11 main albums. And then I got really sad because when I was going through my CDs, I saw my Devil album and I was like, wait, but Devil is considered a special album and not like one of their numbered albums, even though it has 10 songs on it. And I was like, oh. So we have 11. So their debut album, when they were called Super Junior 05, before Kyuhyun joined, is Twins. So this is their first album. Then we had album number 2, which is Don't Dawn. This one's a little more of a rock album. So I will be picking one song from each of these. I have notes of all of the track lists. They usually have repackages of these 2 of these albums. So there's all sorts of stuff kind of going on. Then we have album number 3, which is the first full official album once I became an elf, which is their fandom name. It stands for Everlasting Friends. And that's Sorry Sorry. And the repackage for this is Norogo or It's You. And that's still one of my favorite songs. But so we have Sorry Sorry. And this was the one that kind of exploded them throughout Asia. And Sorry Sorry was like a hit. I will link it up above if you haven't seen it. It's top tier. Then album number 4 is Bon Mana. And this came out when I was in Japan, so I was really close, and so I was in the same time zone for all of the release things, and it was super fun. Love this album too. This has a dance. So Bonamana is also called Mina, which is beauty in Korean. And one of the dance moves in the title track is like inspired by speed skating because it was around the time of the Olympics. And so that's super cool. So there's lots of different options on this one. Then we have album number 5. And yes, if you've seen any of my other videos, you have seen my giant collection of Mr. Simple, which is album number 5. But I chose my little one so I could hold it up easier for you. So Mr. Simple is their 5th studio album. Then we have their follow-up, their 6th studio album, which is Sexy, Free, and Single. And I have multiple copies of this one as well. And the repackage for this one, I think, is Spy. Mr. Simple, I think, was Acha. And Bonamana was... I can't remember what Bonamana was. Let me look in my notes. Oh, it was No Other. And that song immediately just popped into my head. So then... we have a couple albums that I don't have because that was around the time that my mother passed away. And so I didn't have extra funds to get copies of albums. So I am missing 7, 8, and 9. unfortunately, but I'll have to get them. So 7 is Mamacita, and that one was super fun because we had a lot of Asian artists, or not Asian, they are all Asian, but we had a lot of Latinx authors, oh my gosh, artists do collabs. The big single for that one was Lo Siento, and that topped not only the Korean charts, but like the Spanish charts, which was super fun. And after Mamacita was Play. And it makes me sad that I don't have these in... No, what am I saying? Play has Lo Siento. Mamacita has Mamacita, but that has a lot of Spanish music stylists, at least, especially in Mamacita. But then Play, the lead track, was Lo Siento. Mamacita's lead track was Mamacita. These are like 8 years ago, so I'm sorry. Then after Play is arguably one of my favorite albums from them. That is, right, 6, 7 is Mamacita, 8 is Play. So 9 is Time Slip with the repackaged Timeless. Some of my favorite songs from them are on that. We have E-I-E-I-O, and it's 2YA, 2YA-O. And then there was pre-releases for The Crown. The lead single for that one was Super Clap. Oh my gosh. Skydive is one of my favorite Super Junior songs ever. It just always gives me such a serotonin boost when I hear it. And that is on that album. It's still like in my number one playlist that's like my default playlist. I think it has a game. Oh, there's so many good albums. It's probably one of my favorite albums from them. Then we have their 10th studio album, of which they didn't have a normal version of, so I just grabbed one of the big ones. And this is The Renaissance, which also has one of my favorite Super Junior songs ever, and that's Burn the Floor. I'm gonna pop up the performance version of here. It has strings galore. We've got, it's just the flow of it. I will never get tired of this song. It keeps your ears so interested. The brass that comes in, we have all of the string orchestral instruments, and then we've got like the flowy ones, and then it ends on Eunhyuk's like strong as heck rapping. Burn the Floor is one of my top tier Super Junior songs ever. But House Party was the big one, which is all about the pandemic. So House Party was the big single for the Renaissance. And this one I didn't think had a repackage, but there are 2 editions of this album. There's these ones, and these are character specific ones. So this one's specifically Etuks. I have one for all of the members, and then I also have the like 4-pack special edition ones that look like books. This one has Closer and Mystery and Paradox. This has so many songs that are still like on my top tier playlists. And then album 11, technically they released in 2 volumes, but together they're considered their 11th studio album. And that is The Road, Volume 1 and Volume 2. That one had a summer release, was Volume 1, and then the Volume 2 was like a December release with some more Christmas holiday type songs. But for Volume 1, Mango was the big one. And then Celebrate was the big lead single for Volume 2. But so I have 52. I could do the full albums from all of the subunits if I want to, but I don't. I already added too many. And then when I was writing them down, I was only going to do the first 10. And then I was like, no, technically they have an 11th studio album. So then I needed to do that. And then I realized I forgot one of the subgroups. because I was at 51 and then I was like, okay, now I'm at 52 total prompts. And I was like, 52 sounds like a better number to me than 51. So yeah, I might go crazy if I get it done super early, and I might just try to add some other super ones. But I have notes of the track lists. They have a lot of songs about love. They have a lot of things like that. So they're my boys. They're still my number one K-pop group. They're all in their 30s now. They're all old men. And I can't wait for what they do next. And I'm guessing we're going to get the 12th studio album maybe sometime later this year. They usually do releases like late summer, fall type timing, but yeah. I'm an old school. I'm like second gen K-pop is my thing. And they're my stan. And I cannot wait for the Disney Plus documentary that's coming out for them that's called Last Man Standing, which they've gone through so much crap, and I just love them to pieces. They started out as 13 members. I think now we're down to officially 9, and I just love them so much. So I'm going to stop gushing about them, because I will gush about them forever. And I don't really fangirl as much about them as I used to. So now that I'm talking about them and I'm thinking about all their songs, screw audiobooks. I might just have to listen to Super Junior all day at work tomorrow. But they make me happy. They really make me happy. And I love my boys to pieces. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop rambling at you. This has turned into way longer of a clip. I knew it'd be a little long because I wanted to go over this, and I wanted to show my albums because I have them and I wanted to share them with you. And I'm really sad that I'm missing some. I know I had Twins. I know I had Don Don. I know I had Rokugo. I knew I was missing. I didn't know if I had Mamacita or not, but then I also noticed, I felt like when I was putting my Asian CDs and photo books up, I feel like I was missing some Arashi CDs as well, and they're a J-pop band who are no longer together, but they're who basically got me into Asian music. I discovered them in like January of 2003, and I haven't really gone back to American music outside of Taylor Swift and country music. But yeah, okay, I'm going to stop talking. I will see you tomorrow. I hope you have a great Monday night and a good Tuesday. Oh, okay. I forgot to mention, I did not take a video last night when we went out to eat for my birthday. By the time we got to Summit, it was like lightly raining when we left my apartment. And I was like, I wanted to go to Olive Garden, but I was like, no, let's go somewhere new. And I've been wanting to try a cider bar, a local cider bar, because they brew locally. And, after reading Jackie Lale's Cider Bar Sister series, I'm like, I want to try different ciders, because I'm not a big beer person, but I do enjoy hard cider. And I was like, ooh, I want to go to Summit. And so, I totally forgot that they were doing Taste of Fort Collins. So downtown was even more bonkers than it normally is. And then deluge rain. I was just like, oh my gosh. So we were so freaking soaked walking the half a block from the parking garage to Summit. And then by the time we got there, they closed their kitchen like an hour and a half earlier. And it didn't say that on their website. So we were like, I and Sarah got drinks. I got a flight so I could try a whole bunch of different flavors of theirs. And then we went across the street to a Mexican restaurant, and then they were like, you have a 20-minute wait. So then we were like, we'll just wander downtown for a little bit and see and the first shop that we came to that was actually open was a crystal shop. And we walk in and they had June gemstones, and there was pearls and alexandrite, and I never knew, but moonstone is considered a June gemstone. And I was like, I love moonstone. I'm not a big fan of pearls. I enjoy alexandrite, but pearls always just makes me sad. So I bought these moonstone earrings. I'll take them out so you can see them better. But they've got like black dots in them, which gives it kind of a gray tone, which is my color. And so I had to get them. Plus, these ones were only like $30, and all of the other moonstone ones I were looking at, I was like, ooh, those are gorgeous. And I picked it up. It's like $70 for earrings. And I'm like, I don't want them that bad. So I really, actually, these are probably my favorite. And they were the cheaper price point. And I was like, perfect. So I am now calling myself a moonstone baby. So, but I did not take any clips because we had a whole bunch of like with the rain, and it was just a whole big thing. So yeah, that's why there wasn't that clip. So now I will stop talking. The kitty wants to go to bed. And so I'm going to see if post-game shows are still on now that I've been talking at you for 50 minutes. So I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Hello. Hello. Happy Tuesday. It is 10:22. My sister left not too long ago. She ended up coming over tonight after we both got off work because she forgot to bring my birthday presents when we got together on Sunday. So she brought the presents, and then we hung out. And so I opened those, and then we played one of them. She got me the like star-based Munchkin game. We're big fans of Munchkins, and of course I'm a collector, so I want all of the Munchkins, and then quite a few of the little tiny expansion packs for the normal one, and one of the ones for the star one. We ordered some wings from a wing place I've never had in town, which is crazy. And then we also played Calico, which is super fun. So it was nice to kind of hang out and play a couple games and talk, and it's been a little bit since I've seen her. You know, we both get busy. So, but we have plans to get together, all four of us, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend on Saturday. But I told my sister, because we were talking about having like a board game day and hang out together, and I was like, well, knowing Alex and Sarah, it'll probably turn into like a board game afternoon or just evening. But I was like, if you want, I don't think I have any plans, so I can come over sometime in the morning and then just hang out all day, and then we can play some 2-player games or solo games or whatever, and just, you know, get our board game fill in. So hopefully that'll be good, and that'll be fun. So, outside of that, I don't really have any other news outside of yet last night after I filmed my clip when the Nuggets won. I mentioned that all national or all major league sports in Colorado have a championship now, and I forgot one. And the fact that I forgot them tells you how little hope I have of them ever reaching them, and how they're just kind of... And that's the Colorado Rockies, our baseball team. I remember once in 2007, they made it all the way to the World Series, but they ended up losing. But they have not won a championship. But let's be honest, I have zero hope for them to win a championship until Monfort takes a step back and stops thinking that he knows everything about baseball, and he hires a general manager and some front office staff who actually understand the game of baseball. Because let me tell you, people go to Rockies games, but it's because they did renovations and they have what's called the party deck, and the tickets are very, very cheap because they're not very good. We've had some amazing players, but overall the Rockies are just not a good team. And that's disappointing. I have enjoyed the Rockies games I've gone to, but you know, now we're just waiting on the Rockies, so hopefully we won't have to wait 47 years for them. Although, that's quicker than we think, because I think they were created in the 90s, early to mid-90s, I think. But I know I went to a game when I was like 1 year old. So, or maybe I was less than 1. I don't know. But anyway, let's do the quest calendar and then talk about books. So, yesterday we managed to make it back on the platform on our ship, the Karnak. So I'm hoping this is going to be us. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like things are happening. All right. The Karnak pulls away and you head to your bunk for a much-needed rest. You are awakened by the sound of an alarm and find Brokvar in the hallway. Captain Kalis gets on the intercom. We're getting reports of a foreign entity on the ship. One of those things might have made it aboard. Great. Okay, so 1 is take a rest, 2A is lock down the ship, and 2B is gather the passengers. So let's see what's going on. So taking a rest, we restore our health to full, which is perfect because we do have 5 damage. And I was waiting till we got a little bit more damage before using our health potions, but you know what? It looks like we're kind of forced to take a rest here. So that is fine by me. Okay. Regain all expended uses of abilities. For us, that is surges, and we haven't used any. Regain all charges and spell and chi points. Remove the infected condition and the malfunction connection. Change your equipment if you desire. Remove a single negative mod. So yeah, the only thing we really have to worry about is we are fully healed. Okay, so moving on, we have some narrative. Captain Kalis. We've locked down the bridge, but we've also lost vitals for one of our passengers. You need to check on them. What do you need us to do from here? Okay. So, locking down the ship or gathering the passengers. If there's an intruder, I feel like locking down the ship, I mean, it will seal everything up, which might make it harder to move around. But gathering the passengers either will be numbers and safety, or it will make them a bigger target. But it will also allow us quicker time to move around the ship. And if everybody's gathered together, then the person who's not with everybody else is most likely our intruder. So I'm going to go with 2B and hope it works out. So let's see what happens. So gathering the passengers. The passengers might be safe if they are all together, or they could be a bigger target. That's what I said. You would be able to move around the ship more easily to locate and dispatch the intruder. You have the captain alert the passengers and have them gather in the dining hall. Note down gathered somewhere for future reference. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that won't bite us in the butt. As for books. So last night I did finish Untamed Alien by Luna Kingsley. Oh boy. I gotta be honest. I'm giving it 2 stars. I just felt so bored and unbelieving of the way that these characters were acting. I feel like they had too many personality traits and things and like past traumas and all of these different aspects that people have enjoyed from just basic generic, like the stereotypical like barbarian alien tropes are present. But it felt like, to me, the nuance in those tropes or the nuances in those decisions that the author made are missing. And that there was almost too many. And so we didn't really get the emotional depth to any of these elements that I was needing. And it just seemed like things like we were just moving and hitting plot notes and okay, now we got to do this. Now all of a sudden somebody else is going to be bad and she's going to be kidnapped and we have to save her from the dragon-like creatures and like all of these different little, like, it's like we had a checklist and it was just like moving through them. So this definitely could have used with more pages. And I feel like some editing of what is going on with the characters, because we do kind of find out at one point, it's just kind of briefly mentioned that this compound that Marion and her sisters escaped from is a religious compound. And I'm just like, okay, so you're telling me you were in a cult, but somehow you don't have any trauma about this. And then I don't know, I just And then he's like, he could have given her more information, but at the same time, he wasn't enough. Like he could have given her more information, but at the same time, he was being vague enough that he was like, there are dangerous situations. I need to keep you safe. You need to not just be running out and leaving the caves, and we need to keep you safe. And he could have given her more information behind the reasons why she needs to be safe. But the fact that he's like so stressed out about keeping her safe, and then she still like intentionally was making these choices that she knew weren't safe options, like leaving the caves alone in a world. And I'm sorry, how does she feel comfortable? I don't care if she went with that one lady. How do you feel completely comfortable traveling a new world you've never been to? All of a sudden, there's these barbarian other groups of people on this planet who are hidden from the humans in all aspects. Like, how are you comfortable enough to take this random giant cat mount and just traverse the wilds and hope it goes to the same place as it did before? Maybe it's just me, but she was a little TSTL. And then it was like, she's trying to be the good person. She's trying to be the person who does the right thing. But it just felt hokey to me, honestly. And so yeah, that's really all I'm going to say about that. I did not enjoy this. I'm never going to say never on picking up another book by Luna Kingsley, but I don't think I'll be returning to this series. I did notice I have a couple of her other series marked as one to read on Goodreads, but they're older series. So I think if anything, I would pick something newer from her to see how her writing maybe has evolved. But this came out in January of 2021, so it's really not that old. It's only like 2 years old, but you can write a lot in 2 years and learn a lot. So never say never, but she's definitely not in the top percentile of alien romance authors. I will gravitate towards. Now, for reading challenges, this worked for my outer space prompt for Romanceopoly, so we will be doing another roll today, which is exciting. And that one was the sci-fi generic prompt, but the more specific prompt is read a sci-fi with the Mars needs women trope. Then for Gildathon, I use this for Rising Phoenix, which is a book with a character that goes through a rebirth or transition. And I feel like transition kind of works for what's going on here, moving to a new off-world planet and then being forced to mate a barbarian alien. For Read the Season, I applied this to holiday number 6 for the letter U. Now, I do have a letter U in holiday number 5, but before I applied this book, I had 3 prompts left for holiday number 5 and 2 for holiday number 6. So I'm going to do holiday number 5 or holiday number 6 first and get that one finished and then jump back to holiday number 5. And then for Once Upon a Readathon, this actually works for 150 points. So you get the base points of 100 points for reading a book. And then there are like dragon type creatures in here. From the announcement video, they're being a little bit lax on your mascot. And because I'm Team Dragon, it counts for the mascot prompt. So 150 points on that one. I finally have a book that's not just 100 points, but I'm still at least reading, right? That's the thing. Okay, so I will set those aside. As for audio book, under a Georgia Moon or something like that, I'm really struggling with this one too. We're just not doing too hot here lately, these past couple books. Right now it's probably sitting at a 3-star. I'm 46% of the way through. And I have upped my reading speed to 1.75. This is the fastest I've been through an audiobook, but surprisingly, it's still working for me. So I just think with the dry writing and the kind of slow, monotonous style of writing, speeding it up this fast is working for me because I'm still like getting the main points. My biggest thing with this book is it is getting a little bit more religiously leaning. There were some Bible passages that were quoted, or I guess it's scripture that was quoted. We sat with them through like church kind of a thing. So it is more Christian than I was kind of hoping it would be, or more religiously geared than I was hoping it to be. But overall, it's still fine. Where I'm having issues is, we're having big ex drama and other women, like ex other woman drama, and she's telling people that her and Chase are still together, and he's like, we're not together. And then he's like, finally, I have a girlfriend. You need to stop saying that we're together and telling your parents we're together and telling all these other people we're together. And she's trying to manipulate him to play along with it, and that in return she'll introduce him to a friend / in the entertainment business person, because I guess she's trying to be like an actress or something. Daughter of like a huge country music executive, and then that'll kind of help get him into getting noticed. And so he was willing to capitulate once or twice, because he's just like, I'm not saying we're together, but I can go and not say anything, but you're not going to say that we're still together. Like, we're just going to go and we're both going to be at this party, but we're not going to be glued to each other, and we're not going to specifically say anything like we're still together or anything like that. And of course she pushes it and she pushes it, and the person doesn't show up, and then she claims the person showed up after he left when he was frustrated. And now she keeps showing up, and and so that was part of the reason why he's like wanting to fake date Addie, even though he like has a crush on Addie too. And Addie is tired of her aunt trying to matchmake her, and so she agrees to the fake dating situation too. They both kind of come up with the same idea, and then he's like, well, hey, how about we actually fake date kind of a situation. So I'm not enjoying this other ex drama. It's been multiple scenes at this point, and we're only 46% of the way through. Then we have the writing style for me, and it is there's too much description in this for me. I was telling my boss about it today, where I ended up speeding it up, because this morning I was loading the dishwasher before I went to work, and he was picking her up from the airport, and no joke, they're in the car, and we get a full blow by blow of them putting on their seatbelt, pulling out of their parking space, driving up to the little thing. She's offering to pay for parking. He's saying, no, I was already in town. It's no big deal. I got it. You're our guest. Him turning in the ticket, then him paying for it, then the thing coming up, and then him driving through, and then them merging on the highway. And I'm like, we don't need this much description. You can just tell me that, she tried to offer to pay and he wouldn't let her because he's being a gentleman, a Southern gentleman, and then they were on their way back home. Like, I don't need a full play-by-play. Like, just give me their dialogue. And that was just one example. So I don't need this for every tiny little thing. I don't need to know her specific outfit that she puts on in the morning, and then after she gets ready, how she goes down to breakfast and she's going to have this and this for breakfast. And I'm just like, too much. We don't need a play-by-play of these people's lives. And then my other thing is, it's very stereotypy. In, these Southern, older women, all they do is cook, and they're all great they're all great cooks, and everybody's like, oh, you're gonna make us so fat, and when all of the gentlemen are very nice, and he's yelling at her because she gets out of the car, and he's like, no, you have to stay in the car until I open the door. And she's just in her head like, well, I feel kind of comfortable because the skirt rode up higher than I was expecting, and now I'm flashing more thigh. And he's like almost too Like, I get wanting to be a gentleman and having like those chivalrous type manners, and I enjoy those types of things, but please don't yell at a woman for opening the car door because you wanted to open it for her. I mean, just let it be known. Okay, hey, I'd appreciate it. I really enjoy opening the car door for you and assisting you out of my high truck. Like, I don't mind. Like, it just feels weird. But if she happens to just either, well, you gotta get going, she's feeling uncomfortable for whatever reason, like, does she really want to have to sit in the car for 5 minutes and wait for you to get out of the car and walk around the truck and then open the door for her? Like, I don't know. I don't know why it bothered me, but I was just like, just don't yell at her and don't point it out. I mean, say it once and just let her know, hey, I would like to open the car door for you. It's just manners that I was taught. I feel weird if I'm not doing it. And then put it on her. But if there are times where she wants to open the door herself and get out of the car, then let her. Like, it's just little things like that. And it's like he's almost trying to be too perfect of a Southern gentleman. And then, of course, you know, she calls him a sexy country rock star. And I'm like, okay, he's not. Like, yes, he's a good, like, I can understand he's a good singer. You're enjoying, you know, his talent. But, you know, he's still kind of a nobody who is like, bars are only letting him and his guys do stuff on the weekdays because they aren't popular enough to get weekend spots, kind of a thing. And he's still trying to get noticed and has an agent, and he's still trying to get out there. Like, I wouldn't call him a rock star yet. Like, he's a rock star in the small town, but I'm like, let's slow a roll here a little bit. So, as you can tell, it's not quite hitting what I want. And it's just a lot of little things that are starting to pile up for me where it's just kind of like, eh. But definitely speeding it up has helped my enjoyment a lot. And I do enjoy the moments when it's just the two of them and they're just kind of hanging out without the pressure and without the like overt manners all the time. So we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, I'll probably finish it tomorrow at work if things aren't too crazy, because I have sped up the audiobook quite a bit. So there's that. And then as for physical reading, I want to take a shower and then go to bed, but I plan on picking up The Elusive Lord Everhart. This is the first book in The Rakes of Fallow Hall. Yes, The Rakes of Fallow Hall by Vivian Lorette. So this is the only series of her as of right now that I haven't read any of the books in. This is her second published series, so I'm super excited to start this series. I'm hoping to possibly maybe get through all 3 books before the 20th. Or technically before the 21st, but we will see what happens. But these are definitely on the shorter end. This one's a little bit longer. This one looks like we're at... Oh, there's actually quite a bit of other book stuff. Okay, so it's just under 300 pages. It's 282, but I'm excited for this. We saw Lord Everhart. He was friends of a couple of the heroes in her first series. We really saw him hang out with the guy who was in the final book of that trilogy, which is Finding Miss McFarland, and I can't remember the hero's name. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens here. And this is one of my favorite of her covers. It is just so steamy, and with the like pink and red on the like chaise lounge fainting couch thing, and then the curls of her hair falling down. I don't know. The only thing is that his hair color seems kind of off to me, but otherwise I think it's gorgeous. And there's a moth in here. Ugh, the moths have been so crazy. So I plan on starting this tonight. And then if you were wondering, I chose a historical romance bookmark. So I have my Anthony and Kate bookmark. I hate moths. They're so gross. They get that dust everywhere. It's been a really bad moth season. Other book news, I do have a couple releases. So after my sister left, I went down to our Amazon hub and I got the books that were delivered to my apartment, and then one of these was delivered to work. So we have Love Theoretically, which is a new release that came out today by Ali Hazelwood. I'm super excited to read this. I enjoyed The Love Hypothesis. I still haven't read the second book, but I feel like The Love Hypothesis was really hard to find once it was released because it kind of blew up. So I'm pre-order her books now. But I'm super excited to get to this one, and I'll probably read this one soonish, hopefully, maybe. We will see. And then also what came out today is The Sweetheart List by Jill Shalvis. This is the 4th book in her new series, Sunrise Cove, I think is what it's called. I still have not started this series, but I'm a big fan. Yeah, Sunrise Cove. So I cannot wait to start the series. I need to start this series. I have so many books I need to start. But I love it. It's got a dog, and this would be perfect if I can catch back up for a lot of the summer prompts that I have going on. So I think a Jill Shalvis binge is coming. And then I also have, what also came out today is Magic Claims by Alona Andrews, but I haven't received my paperback yet. It says 4 or 5 days ago it was received by carrier, but it doesn't tell me who it is, if it's Amazon, USPS, UPS, or whoever. And outside of that first trigger it's been giving to the carrier, no other scans have happened on it. So I'm just like, where is it? But it says that it's supposed to be here later this week, but we will see. And then the other book, also what came out today, is Zoe Draven's new book, Craving in His Blood. So I'll probably pick that up kind of soon. I checked it on KU, but we will see what happens. And then I also got today my normal people cover of Reckless by Elsie Silver. So I cannot wait to read this. This came out on the 9th. But I finally got this copy. I have also ordered the mirror version of this one, but it says that it's not supposed to be delivered from until July 5th through July 16th, which is a really big window. But I did go ahead and pre-order that one because that was one of the new ones. And I do still plan on doing a little birthday, spend my birthday gift cards on Amazon and getting the other mirror covers. So I just need to actually get my finances and figure out how much I actually have, and then figure out what I'm buying from there. So there are books. I think that's all I have for you today. So I'm going to get the Romanceopoly switch set up and switch you over, and we will do our Romanceopoly rolls. So I will see you in a moment. Okay, so here we are, and we were on Outer Space, which is the boardwalk of this version, which is super fun. Okay, so let us get going here. So 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we are on Post Office. I don't think I've done Post Office. So let's see what Post Office says. Nope, maybe I have done the Post Office. Let's look at our book. Okay, I have done the Post Office. So that was 11. Whoop. And then we will move forward. Okay, so 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are on spring. Have we done spring yet? Okay, so spring. Read a book where either it has green, pink, or an animal on the cover, or it has an unexpected or secret pregnancy. So that's that. I know. Let me just... Okay, so I think I was trying to remember if the Under the Georgia Moon book or whatever I have. I know it has like blue on it. I don't know if it has green or pink on it, but this is a pink cover. So this will work perfectly for The Elusive Lord Everhart. Now, part of me is like, we can just roll so we know what to pick up audiobook wise after this, but I think I'm just gonna hold off and we'll wait until I finish this and then do our new roll. So spring will work perfectly for this, and we're gonna leave it at that one roll. So I'm going to get this all packed up, and I'm going to get a shower and get to bed and then start The Elusive Lord Everhart. But in the meantime, I guess I hope you have a good Wednesday. Tomorrow's already hump day, and I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Hello, happy Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. We've had a thunderstorm just kind of move through a little bit ago when I was leaving work, and I sat down and I have storm chasing going on in the background. So I'm just gonna relax, I think, the rest of the evening and read and watch/listen to storm chasing. That is one of my favorite things to do. Especially when it's this time of year. So, speaking of books, let's talk books. So, Tuesday night, I did finish Under a Georgia Moon. I'm gonna give it 2 stars. I really did not. There were like moments that kept making me think, oh, it might be 3, oh, it might be 3.5 star. I mean, but there were a bunch of little things that really started to annoy me and were kind of, our heroine was very, very judgy. I get that she might be naive, but she was so judgy. Our hero, Chase, I think I mentioned, is striving to be a country artist, and he is performing at a bar, as you do. And so he invites her to come, and she like freaks out because she's never been to a bar. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. It can be kind of nerve-wracking if you've never been to a bar. But so she's like, oh, I hope it's not the sleazy ones like we have back in my hometown kind of a situation, which, okay, I guess, but there are nice places too. A lot of the bars around here are bars and restaurants, unless it's attached to a brewery, and then a couple of them are just bars and no food. But most of them around here, like, I feel like seedy bars are few and farther between nowadays, but maybe I'm just not in a part of the country where like the seedy bars are kind of still a thing. But I don't know, I guess it just depends where you are. But anyway, okay, I can forgive that. But then when she like goes there, she's freaking out because she doesn't know what to drink. And I'm like, there's a whole big thing about having a designated driver, of friends going out with friends and some of them not drinking. Like, just because you're at a bar doesn't mean you have to drink. And the other person who's there, who's the wife of one of the other people in his band, is like, oh yeah, I don't drink either. And but the food's really good, and you can just get like a water or lemonade or an iced tea. Like, they have other drinks. Like, it's like a restaurant, And I'm just like, how? I don't know. And maybe it's like overly naive. Like, okay, naive, you don't know what especially because each bar is different, but you might not know that. So you don't know what you're walking into. I get that. But why would you think they wouldn't at least have water? And and even if you don't drink, I think it's hard to not hear about like mixed drinks and cocktails, and some are made with juice and some are made with sodas, and like they would have those things. So I don't know, it just felt like common sense was missing. And then the author made some interesting choices where the girls at the table next to them are super excited. They're getting kind of drunk. You could tell these girls are out for a girls' night out. But instead of them just being drunk, we got to have this thing of, they're saying that the band is sexy and they're trying to hit on the band and they're trying to, and then, they're getting drunk at this. I'm like, you're at a bar. Like, you weren't expecting to see drunk people, really? And then she's talking about how sleazy they are because they're drinking and they're hooting and hollering at the band and they're trying to, like, catch their eye. And I'm like, that's not sleazy. Like, And then there was a whole thing where she goes to the bathroom and apparently, like, when she's walking by and she makes eye contact with people, and she's like smiles and nods hello to people that like meet her eyes, which I feel like is a normal human thing. But then all of these guys start buying her drinks and then she completely flips out. And it's like, just tell the waitress, I don't drink alcohol. Please return them. I'm uncomfortable, or whatever you want to say. Like, I get it, you're freaked out, but she gets like 4 of these drinks. And then, of course, there's a bar fight because one of them starts hitting on her and won't take no for an answer. And I'm just like, I didn't like the way that it felt that she was like better than everybody else. And she was like so judgy of everybody else, but all the guys want her type of situation. And then Chase got in a bar fight, and it was like this whole big thing. And I probably would have enjoyed this book more if that entire scene was just taken out or just focused on the fact that she went and she saw him play live for the first time. I didn't need any of the other stuff. It felt like the author was trying to make a point or trying to prove a point about like how good of a girl our heroine is, and she doesn't drink and she doesn't go to bars and she doesn't go in this situation. And I'm like, I can get, like, I understand you don't want to drink. I'll have a drink every now and again, but I've never been drunk. I've gotten tipsy a couple times and I've gotten close to getting drunk, that's for sure. But I've never considered myself to ever have gotten fully drunk. Do I think I'm better than other people because I've never been drunk? No, I don't. I just don't understand. I don't know. I didn't like the way that she was judging everybody around her at the bar. And let's be honest, she was judging other people as well in other situations. But the bar is where it was like so constant that it really stuck in my brain. But she did say some like judgmental things here and there. Well, I was just like, whoa, okay, that's a little taking it too far. You don't know this other person kind of situation. But then it just move on. So, I don't know. It felt like a fan-made, like, poorly, I don't know. I don't want to be, I'm being harsh on this. But I had to give it 2 stars. I honestly, I would give it less, but I was like, I'll give it 2 stars. I don't like to rate lower than a 2-star, but I will if it really is horrendous. But I don't know. It just really, as you can tell, it really bothered me. The way I don't even care if they are in an HEA, and honestly, he could do better. I don't know, she was just trying to be, she was just too perfect of a heroine, and part of how she was so perfect was because she drugged down other people who weren't in her, like, immediate family kind of a situation, so that was kind of disappointing. And honestly, I doubt I will pick up this author again. I don't like to say that's it for an author with me, but I think I just don't like her style of heroines, especially with this being Christian romance. So I feel like if she might have something that isn't quite as paragon of virtue type situation, then I might be interested in it, but most likely not. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that. So, as for reading challenges, I use this for, I did decide after Tuesday night, when I was doing all my stats and stuff, when I was marking it as read, I noticed there is either the windows are green or there's like a green curtain in the windows, but there is green on the cover. So I am applying it to Romanceopoly for spring. I know I said I was going to do that for Elusive Lord Everheart, but I decided to apply it to this one so we can get more prompts done a little bit quicker, because I feel I'm running behind a little bit. So that one is done. For Guildathon, I use this for musical, which is music is a part of a story. And like I mentioned, Chase is an aspiring country singer. For Read the Season, I applied this for holiday number 5 for the letter U. For Feels Like Summer, I applied this for new genre because this is the first like Christian romance that's been marketed as a Christian romance that I've read. For Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo, I applied this to Protagonist Smells Like Citrus. It is only mentioned once at the very beginning of the book that he has a citrusy cologne. And I was like, ding, 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 we have a winner. And then for Once Upon a Readathon, this just got the base points of 100 points for reading a book. So there is that. Now, I said after this, I was planning on physically reading the Elusive Lord Everheart. I have not started this yet. I do plan on reading it. I might wait till this weekend or start it tomorrow, Friday night. So yesterday, I didn't film a clip. My friend Jen, she was having her 40th birthday party. So we went to that, and we weren't there too long. But when I got home, I was doing my little notes for where I was going to put under George and Moon. And instead, and when I got to Read the Season, I was really kind of looking at what was doable for me for Read the Season. And I was like, I really want to get to it. I really want to get to it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 prompts left. Can I get through 11 prompts by the end of day Tuesday? I don't know. But we're going to try. My throat's feeling a little scratchy all of a sudden. I'm sorry. So I went through notes and I wanted to read more of the Vivian Lorette books in the beginning of the month, but that just hasn't happened. So I do still plan on, at the very least, getting to the Elusive Lord Everheart and reading this weekend. I don't know if I'm going to read the other 2 books in this series. I still want to get them done by the end of the month, but I'm not going to try to finish them before the end of Read the Season Spring. So what I ended up doing is kind of making notes on what I had ideas for, what I wanted to pick up. So of the 11 prompts, I have the Elusive Lord Everwood. Then hopefully I can pick up Sink or Swim by Mathematics. That will cover another prompt. And then I have Magic Claims, which is supposed to be delivered on Monday. So that what I would have to read Monday night or Tuesday night to finish things out. So I was like, all right, that's 3 of the 11. I have to get through 8 books. So let's just say 8 books by Sunday night. And I was like, I don't know if that's doable, but I went through and I looked at my TBR things that I created for the novella-thon. And I went through and I looked at the books I didn't get to for that. And I was like, maybe I'll just try to pick up some novellas. A few of them are available via audio in my Hoopla, so I can get like almost half of them via audio, which then would mean I can do 4 audios and then 4 normal novellas. So I might go on a little novella binge this weekend, but I'm going to try to do like 2 tonight and 2 tomorrow night, and then see where we're at, which I get. That's like a full length book, but it counts for 2 prompts. So that's where we're at. So I have all of these notes, and I have shorthand, and I wrote page numbers and things like that. I have different options because like I have the letter M and I have the letter I. And so Magic Claims could potentially work for either of them because the author is Alona Andrews. So, and then if it doesn't come in time, I have some other options that I have as backups. So this is what I did last night, and then I went to bed. And then when I went to bed, I was like, maybe I'll pick up a book. And then I was kind of like, because today starts the new quarterly challenge, not Read the Season, but the other one. I think I mentioned it earlier this week, but the summer musical tour starts today. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to bed, and then tomorrow I can start working on the summer music tour and get some prompts that way. So there's a lot, but I got things narrowed down. So depending on genre, I feel like I have a decent mix here. I think I hit all the subgenres. And there's quite a bit of tropes here. So, yeah, we've got a lot going on. So I'm going to do the Romanceopoly board, and we will see what works there. And I'm going to try to pick novellas off of the Romanceopoly prompts that I get, and if we get one that doesn't quite match, then so be it. But then we can try to get through some of these Romanceopoly prompts as well, because I mean, we're doing okay. This is what we have left. So we're getting there, but I wanted to be a little bit further along because I know in December I don't know 100% what I'm going to be doing, but if I decide to do a bunch of Christmas and winter novellas again, then that'll kind of take up a lot of reading time. And so, and then I also usually do some fall Halloween type readathons that are the end of the year as well. So I want to try to get through as much of Romanceopoly as I can before we hit like October. Plus, hopefully I will be able to kind of really focus down on crocheting around that time for Christmas presents. So I'm just trying to think ahead on some of these yearly ones as much as I can. So let's do the quest calendar, and then we will flip over to the Romanceopoly board. So I'll pull things forward. Little kitty sounds. I have to try to pin her down today. Yesterday, she let me cut her front feet claws. And it was no struggle. She was cuddling me, and I was just like snip, 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 and things were fine. And then as soon as I grabbed the back foot, she was like, no more. So I was like, okay, so that's gonna... And I have to try to pin her down and get her back feet today. She's always more sensitive with her back feet too anyway. But now that I have things set up, I don't have to waste your time. So, oh, that's right. There was an intruder potentially on Tuesday. So, and we chose to gather everybody up. So let's go. Okay. Yep. And it looks like it killed somebody. Great. Okay. You move to the crew quarters to secure the area and check on the passengers. You find a horrifying sight. A young shrieker has burst out of one of the passengers. That's some Alien type stuff there, like Alien the movie. Okay, so number 1, what do you know of parasites? And then we have A, B, and then we have an A and a B for 2. 2A is try to subdue the creature, 2B is attack the creature, and then 3 is investigate the remains. Okay, this is taking a turn that I did not expect it to. All right, so what do you know of parasites? This is an intellect roll reminder student. So our intellect is a 1, and we do have students, so that is a +3 total. And 15, so 18 is our total. The passenger acted as a host to this creature. When it grew enough, it burst through the host and killed them. It will eventually mature into an adult shrieker and infect others. It is busy feasting on the host to gain strength. Gain a +2 bonus if you decide to subdue the creature. Okay, I guess we'll go with subdue since we have a little bit of an option. So that is a charisma roll with animal tamer. We do have animal tamer, and our charisma is a +1, so that is +3 plus our bonus. So +5 total. Natural 20. Heck yes. So 25 total. If the result is 15 or more, the shrieker remains calm while you capture it in a container. Perhaps Dr. Latimer and Dr. Serpent could learn something useful. Otherwise, you will be able to sell it to a lab to study. Gain 5 credits. Okay. Not what I expected to happen, but all right. So, number 3, investigate the remains. Intellect reminder investigator. So we do have investigator, and once again, our intellect is a +1, so +3. And that is a 13, so 16 total. Okay, if the result is 15 or more, the passenger must not have been aware that he was incubating this creature, or he would have sought medical help. The other passengers and even crew are at risk and need to be examined. The parent that infected the host must still be on the ship. You find 6 credits among the passenger's belongings that he will no longer need. Well, that makes me feel a little bad, but okay. All right, I guess we're pilfering this dead person's belongings. All right, so there's our dead passenger and the little guy that we're selling for science, I guess. All right. Okay, so it looks like we have a map of the Karnak this time, so we're going to do some exploring. The Shrieker is somewhere on board. Search through all the compartments and rooms on the Karnak until they are all cleared. Begin at the X, navigate around the ship, visit each room until you visited them all. Explore and resolve each room you visit before you choose your next. Okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6. Okay. So, here's our X. So I'm going to come over here into room number 1, and then we'll take the ladder down into room number 2, and then we'll come back over to the start here. And I'm assuming this room is 5. It's not labeled, so I'm assuming it's 5, because then we've got 4 up here, then 3 here. Nope. 6 is here, and then 3 is here. And I can't quite tell how to get to 3. So, I mean, I don't know if you can come across and then take this up. Maybe we'll do that because there is a little bit of a mark here. So maybe these doors, maybe there's doors here. So maybe we'll go 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, I'm going to guess those are doors. Because otherwise there's literally no way to get into room number 3. So let's just move on. Okay, so room number 1. If you have lockdown noted, we do not. You spot a baby parasite chasing a passenger down the hallway of the crew quarters. Why is the passenger not with everybody else? Run to save them. This is a Constitution roll reminder. Athlete. So our Constitution is a +1 and athlete is a +2. So 3 total. And that is a 12. So 15 total. If the result is 12 or more, you catch up to the parasite and kill it quickly. Note that you have saved 1 passenger. Okay. Good to know. So then we are moving down to room number 2. You find a baby parasite paying no attention to you as it is munching on some food preserves in the cargo hold. So dexterity, reminder, stealthy. We do not have stealthy, but our dexterity is a +4. And that is a 17, so 21 total. If the result is 13 or more, you sneak up on the creature and capture it. Gain 3 credits. Cool. Okay. All right, so then number 3, room number 3. You open the security vault to find a passenger hiding inside. Note that you have saved 1 passenger. So we are at 2 total. You open the door to the secondary, or wait. Nope, we don't go to 4. We go to 6. Okay, you find one of the parasites about to pounce on a passenger. It pauses when it sees you. You might have a chance to catch it. So charisma, reminder, animal tamer. So the same as before, animal tamer we do have, and our charisma is a 1. And that is a natural 20 again. Great. So that is 23 total. For room number 6, if the result is 14 or more, you distract the creature and capture it. Note that you have saved 1 passenger. We are up to 3. Okay, then we are going to go up to room number 5. If you have gathered noted down from an earlier page, the passengers are all gathered safely inside the dining hall. When you leave to continue your search, you are attacked by a large shrieking parasite. Okay, so we will have to do attacking. So our attack is a +6. That is a 12, so 18 total. And we needed 13 more to hit. So we are good. So I will roll damage, which is 2d12 plus 2. So that's a 5 and 7. So 12, 13, 14 total damage. All right. Oh, and if our damage roll was 5 or more, the enemy dies. Cool. All right. So then up to room number 4. This is the final room we have. You open the door to the secondary bridge and engineering room to see a passenger cowering in the corner. When you enter, a parasite lands on your face and squirts a liquid on you. Well, that's not fun. Constitution reminder, danger sense. Okay, so we do have danger sense, and our con is a 1. All right, so 15, so 18 total. All right, if the result is 14 or more, you have killed the creature quickly. Note that you have saved 1 passenger. Perfect. So we have saved all 4 passengers that we could have. We've caught another creature to sell for science. But I didn't see where like moving on and we didn't find the big like mother parasite thing. So I guess that will be hopefully tomorrow's adventure. So I'm going to get things packed up here and pull up the Romanceopoly board and we will do our roll right here. So I will see you in a moment. Alrighty, so here's our board. We are currently over here on spring. So let's just kind of get into it and I'll pull out my book here so I can keep track of what we're rolling and how much and all that good stuff. So all right, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So that is Farmer's Market. All right, so 7. Oop, my pen's not working. And I'm going to check here. Okay, so it looks like we landed on one that we have not done yet. So Farmer's Market. So if you were doing genre only, it is paranormal. And if you are doing the more specific prompt like myself, read a book where one of the main characters is a farmer, rancher, or cowboy. Well, that's an interesting choice between paranormal and that. But I'm going to go with Farmer's Mark. I'm going to do the more specific one. So farmer, rancher, or cowboy. So it could be. All right, I'm going to have to go through my list here and see what I got and see if any of them are a farmer, rancher, or a cowboy. I mean, immediately I have Elsie Silver's new book pop into mind, but I don't think I have any contemporary ones like that. So I'll have to go through my list here again and see where we're at. But this will be what I'm hopefully picking up next for Romantopoly. And hopefully I have one of the things on my list to finish out read the season. If not, I'm just going to go hog wild and we'll just have to suck it up. So there's that. And that was super quick. Just one rule again today. So I will hopefully, well, no, I should see you. No, yeah. I'll see you tomorrow on Friday because we will wrap up the week and move on. So have a great Friday. Hello. Happy not Friday. It is actually Saturday morning. But last night I got sucked into a book and I never filmed a clip and then I went to bed. So, we are going to try to quickly go through this stuff. So let's get the quest calendar done and out of the way, and then we can talk about books that I have read since Thursday when I last updated you. So for quest calendar, we were going through the Karnak, trying to find the mother parasite, head parasite, whatever we want to call. Oh my god, yep, that looks like it. Great, just how we want to start our weekend, right? With this creepy parasite creature. You discover one of the parasitic creatures in the hull about to attack a passenger who never made it to safety. This one has grown larger, but it isn't mature enough to be the parent you are looking for. Of course, they're just going to drag this out. So it looks like attack, damage, and then a constitution roll, probably to avoid becoming infected by these parasites. And we're going to have 4 rounds with this mature-ish creature. Great. Okay, so our attack is +6. Our damage is 2d12 +2. And if we need it, hopefully not, our constitution is a +1. So let's just get into it. Attack roll number 1, that is a 12. So 18 to hit. Okay, we needed a 17 or more, so perfect. Damage. 10, so 15, so 17 total damage, and we needed 10 or more to stun the creature. Perfect. Okay. And we only have to worry about the constitution roll if it does damage to us. Perfect. So on to round number 2. That is an 18 on the die, so we should be good. Yep, 17 or more. So damage 11, wow, and 7, so 18, so 20 total damage for round 2, and we needed 12 or more, so it is stunned. On to round number 3. That is a 13, so that gives us 19, so that's over the 17. 8 and 11. Wow, we're rolling really good damage today. So that is 19 plus our 2, so 21 damage. For round 3, we needed 11 or more. We got that on the die. On the die on just one of the rolls, which is crazy. All right, and then round number 4, that is another 13. Weird. So 19, so we hit once again. And that is 9. And 12. Wow. Okay. All right. So 21, 24 damage. No. 21 plus 2 is 23 damage. and we needed 10 or more to stun the creature. If you dealt a total of 25 damage or more, we have, you note that you have saved one passenger. Okay, another passenger is saved. Collect 1 credit for each round you stun the enemy, so that's all 4, and then collect additional 3 credits if you defeated the enemy. So 7 total credits, and we are not infected, and that is that for the quest calendar. So, to what I read Thursday night. So my Romanceopoly roll was Farmer's Market, which you just saw. And I went through the novellas that I kind of had and the books that I had kind of planned for the remaining little bit of Read the Season. And When She's Ready by Ruby Dixie fit perfectly. Now this series, it seems, I know the first book is like novella length. It seems like all of them are novella length. I guess this first book was written for the Read Me Romance podcast, which is like an audiobook podcast where they do free audiobook, free for listeners, audiobook like narrations. And this is way back in episode 35. And so I could not find the full, it's a 2-parter, and I could only find part 1. I could not find part 2 anywhere. So that was a little disappointing, but I just read it. I mean, it was like less than 100 pages. So I give this 3.5 stars. The basic series of this is a bunch of humans have been kidnapped, and then there is a lord of a planet, and he has a human mate. And so when all of these humans were rescued, aliens didn't really know what to do with them because Earth is a Class D planet, which means no contact whatsoever. If someone's taken off that world, they can't ever really go back. So he's offered each like rescued human female plot on this farming planet, and they're given like this area to work for money, and it's all like kind of mechanized, so they don't have to do too much, but it's basically supposed to be a safe place to live. However, there are some creatures that are trying to marry them and then kill them off. We've heard stories about one just so they can get the land, and our heroine Leilani is kind of being encroached on by her neighbors, and they're very creepy. They're kind of like snake style aliens, and their specific race of alien was the one that has been known to have killed off one of the other humans, basically for her farmland. So she's trying to avoid that. She has another human friend who has recently since gotten married to an alien, and they have a friend who was fighting in a military in some prisoner of war, and then ended up being a prisoner of war. And then when the war ended up happening, he kind of turned into a normal prisoner, even though he shouldn't have been a prisoner. So he has since escaped with a friend of his. And so to kind of help hide out and for safety, they're kind of entering into this marriage of convenience type situation. But, you know, of course, they click right away. There's high attraction level. She's definitely on the curvier side, and she is a native Hawaiian, which was super fun because she was trying to like bring little like Hawaiian cultural aspects and things, like little things from home. Like they build, I forgot what it's called, but like a little like grilling pit that the Hawaiians use where they like slow roast meat, but it's like in the ground in like a pit kind of situation. And so she's trying to bring like little pieces of home with like, or make new little pieces of home, because obviously she couldn't bring them from home with her. But so I thought it was super cute. It was really quick. Where I kind of had issues is I didn't quite like marriage of convenience. Yeah, I didn't quite feel like enough had happened for them to say we are in love. I just felt that a little unbelievable to me without, like, I feel like with Ice Planet Barbarians, it works a little easier for me because they're mates, they're Kui mates. And I don't know why, but like Fated Mates for me just kind of pushes past my like weirdness about saying that they love each other too early. And here, because it definitely had a Fated Mate feel, but that wasn't like what was happening. So it didn't quite work out for me, but I still enjoyed it. And I'm definitely intrigued to read more in the series. But I'm just not, it's not at the top of my list of what I want to read from Ruby Dixon. But I think if I need more novellas or something, that's a good little throw-in option to just kind of pick away slowly at this series. I'm assuming the rest of them are also novellas, but I'm not 100% sure. Well, okay, let me finish talking about things here. So, like I mentioned, that works for Farmer's Market. The genre-only prompt is paranormal, which I do the more specific prompts, which is read a book where one of the main characters is a farmer, rancher, or cowboy. Then, for my other reading challenges for Guildathon, I applied this to technical, which is read a sci-fi or a book with advanced technology, of which this has both. For read the season, I use this for holiday number 5 for the letter D for Dixon. For Feels Like Summer, I use this for published in July. Now, but this was the audiobook version before it became the, before she like wrote it down and turned it into an ebook. So the audio came out in July, I think of like 2019 or something like that. I have also officially reached 10 books for the month of June, so I can also cross off that box in Feels Like Summer. Then for the Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo, this also worked for the farm prompt. For Once Upon a Readathon, this worked for the base points of read a book, get 100 points. Then for the 2023 Summer Musical Tour, I used this for the Chicks, formerly the Dixie Chicks, and I didn't write down what the tour name was. So let me just see, because I know this is one on the end. And it's the Chicks World Tour 2023 is their tour that's happening right now, I guess, or this summer. And one of the options for that is set on a farm or a ranch. So I just took care of all of the farming prompts that I could with this book because I thought that was fun. Then I'll do a little jump cut here. So after I finished that, I wanted to pick up another book. So I didn't fully set up my Romanceopoly, but I did do another roll. So I will insert that clip here.
Hello. So I just finished the book for this. I'm going to wait and just talk about it all tomorrow on Friday's clip. But I did finish this. But I wanted to at least film my next roll, so I will go ahead and do that now, and when you're watching this I will insert it into tomorrow's clip. But I'm not going to worry about setting everything up. It's just after 10 o'clock here, so I just pulled out my book. And so we'll just kind of count because I have everything written down in order. So here we have our farmer's market. So let's roll. I picked 2d6. And let's see. So that is 10 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we are on Soldier Street, which is romantic suspense or read a book with a main character that's in the military. So I'll just double check and make sure that it is still here in our stack. Yep. Alrighty, so here it is.
Okay, so as you can see, I got Soldier Street. This one kind of had to finagle and make work for me. So I went through, you know, my list of what I had planned for Read the Season once again. And I decided to go with The Taming of Mei Lin by Jeannie Lin. This is the prequel novella, the 0.5 in her Tang Dynasty series. So the first book is Butterfly Swords, which I read recently in the past couple months. And this is, I might have mentioned, if you were watching me when I read that book, I mentioned that she talks about her grandmother's love story, and this is her grandmother's love story, which is super exciting because I didn't know at the time that I knew there was a prequel novella, but I didn't really look at it too much. And so this is set like 40 years in the past or something like that. So this is her grandmother's love story. This is super, super quick. It's only like 50 pages. And I thought it was super cute. Now, I am kind of finagling things a little bit because our hero, Sheng, he works for the Emperor in kind of like a covert military-ish type. So he's not in like the armies, but he's one of those guys that kind of is like a spy intelligence, like traveling around taking care of people. So he's in service to the Emperor, but he's not like in one of the armies. But I'm going to count it because that was the close I could get. And it still is considered part of the military. It's just not what in the form of what we consider like modern day military. But in, you know, ancient history China, that would be like a militaristic position within, I guess, life. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I hope that makes sense. So, this was super cute. We did know a little bit of the story, but her parents have passed away, and she is kind of stuck living with her aunt and uncle who own a noodle restaurant, and they're very, very like rude to her, and she's kind of feeling out of place, but she's very good with the butterfly swords. They were originally hers. And there's these people that she's not really into who keep trying to convince her to marry them in her little village. And she's just like, I'll marry the person who can defeat me in sword battle. And so Sheng is, you know, like a known militaristic figure who has good honor, who's very skilled in sword and warfare. And while they're fighting, he was kind of ish beating her, but she ends up like really liking him and feeling this connection with him. So she kind of throws the battle a little bit because she's like, of all the people that I've met who I might want to be married to, this is him. But then of course, you know, he's a traveling person. So he's like, I'm going to leave it. And then they end up being together anyway, but it was super cute. I also gave this 3.5 stars. I just wanted it a little bit longer. And I feel like, we almost got too much of the story in the first book. And so it would have been like, I would have liked just not as much information, or to have expanded out this novella so that there was more information than what we got in Butterfly Swords. But I still really liked it. I rounded it up to 4 stars on Goodreads. And this one felt quick, but I don't know. And see, here I am already going back on my words, but it didn't, I don't know. I feel like it's different when you're dealing with historicals, especially like ancient, you know, Asian history, because I feel like lifespans were shorter and they're kind of in a tougher situation of like, if you're a woman needing and having to get married for just being able to survive in the world, with that male protection type thing. And so the fact that they had this connection, plus they connected over their sword battle, I don't know. It felt, I mean, it was still a little fast because it was less than 2 weeks. It was like a few days, but I don't know. The setting made the connection a little bit more believable to me. But it also wasn't like, and while we know, because we've read in the full book that they do eventually get married, but they aren't just like hitching themselves, like they both leave this village together, but it's not like we're gonna go get married at this second, even though he kind of does propose to her. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about it. I thought it was super cute. I feel like I talked about it longer than I actually read it. But so like I mentioned, I picked this up for Soldier Street. So there is another Romanceopoly done. For Read the Season, I applied this to holiday number 6 for the letter L. So I have officially finished holiday number 6. For Gildathon, I use this for Hotshot, which is a character that's highly trained in their line of work. And, you know, they're both like swordsman people. Feels Like Summer, I applied this for library book because I was able to get that anthology bind up with a lot of Jeannie Lynn's novellas. They're on Hoopla via ebook, and I could have just checked this book out by itself, but they also had the Harlequin bind up of a lot of her novellas. Oh my gosh, it's hailing a little bit. That's crazy. It's not really big. It looks like dime-sized hail. Fun. But there is an anthology. I think it's called Of Silk and Shadows. I'll pop up the cover of it here. But this has like the prequel novella for this series, the Tang Dynasty. It has the prequel novella for her Pekong Lee Mysteries series. It also has a couple other of the Tang Dynasty novellas, I think. There's a 2.5 novella and a 3.5 novella. I think they're all for the Tang Dynasty. And then there's another like short story novella or something that's included as well. Then for Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo, I had to finally use it for the HEA, the Center Square Happily Ever After. So our easy peasy one is done. For Once Upon a Readathon, this worked for 100 points. Then for the 2023 Summer Musical Tour Reading Challenge, this worked for Diana Ross. The Musical Legacy Tour, one of the options for that is an Insta Love story. So those two I read Thursday night. Then yesterday when we were leaving work, Typically, I like kind of close the gate, and my boss was a little bit behind me, so I went to check the mail, and then I could hand it to her so she didn't have to park and get out and check the mail because I park out front. And I heard her son talking to her in the parking lot, so I was just like, oh my gosh, this could either be like 2 minutes or it could be like 10 minutes because Matt's a talker, which is fine. But so I just pulled out my book and I was like, didn't know, I didn't roll a new Romanceopoly because I finished Maylin in bed, and I ended up just kind of randomly picking up Dragon Unraveled. I knew that was one of the options that I had on my list. This one is like 200 pages, so it is a little bit longer than a novella. Oh my gosh, it is like half raining, half hailing, and it is like crazy out there right now. I didn't realize we were supposed to get hail today. I'm like kind of excited about it, even though hail is damaging, but we haven't had hail this year, but we've had a lot of rain. So there's probably going to be some crazy storm chasing happening this weekend, which is fun because I can put those on as live shows. But anyway, so I picked up Dragon Unraveled, and then I ended up finishing this last night. This has been on my want to read. I checked it out the minute I saw it was released. This is by November Dawn. This is the second book that she's officially published. She does have a prequel novella to this that you can get for free on her newsletter, which she now has a website, which when I read her first book, it's a demon hybrid book. I read it for Pharaoh Feb, not this year, so last year I want to say. Debut book, loved it, super excited. She didn't have any socials at that point. She didn't have a website or anything, and so all I could do was like follow her on Amazon. And then I was wanting more in that demon hybrid series, and then she released this in the end of 2022. And I was like, we're starting a whole new series. So this is Amber City Shifters. It has been on my Kindle since this came out, September 22. And I'm finally getting to it. She calls it paranormal, but I consider dragons fantasy, even though they're dragon shifters. But basic premise of this, we have Sienna and Adrian is our dragon shifter. Sienna is a witch. Her family are witches and shifters constantly clash. But she is a witch that has no power, and her specific family has, they call it the dragon egg, but it is a magical artifact created from a dragon scale, and it like amplifies her family's magic, and her younger twin brothers for some reason were playing with this like historical family artifact special magical thing and cracked it. And so she was able to figure out that if she is able to get a drop of dragon's blood, they're able to fix this thing. So she goes to Amber City. She lives out in the country, and she approaches Adrian and kind of tells him this story and would like a drop of his blood. He instantly recognizes her family line because she reminds him of a witch family who used to be the Hollows, who are now the Camerons. And we kind of find out from his end that a dragon scale was stolen from his great-grandfather. And since then, the magic of the males in their line has been drastically decreased. They only have a fraction of their magic, and it is considered a curse on the family. So he is like, I'll give you a drop of blood if you be my assistant on this trip, because my normal assistant isn't there. And he plans on taking her to a witch who specializes in like removing curses. So, and he's going to use her blood to remove this curse on his family. So they're both trying to deal with things. I thought it was super fun. I gave it 4.5 stars. I mean, a second book down by, November Dawn, and I just can't wait for her to release more. She does have a website, like I mentioned now, and when you sign up for her newsletter, there is, I'm guessing it's a prequel novella, but I don't know exactly where it is in line, but it is a novella in the Amber City Shifters. So now I can join her newsletter instead of just following her on Amazon, and I'm super excited to see whatever she writes next, because I have enjoyed both of her books so far, and I can't wait for more. So, as for reading challenges, this worked for Gildathon for Combustion because it has a twist or a surprise, and I'm not going to spoil what that is. For Read the Season, I applied this to holiday number 7 for the letter N. For Once Upon a Readathon, this worked for 150 points because it's got a dragon in it, and I am Team Dragon. For the 2023 Summer Musical Tour Reading Challenge, I used this for Imagine Dragons, which they're doing their world tour, and one of the options is a shapeshifter or a fantasy, and this works for both of those options. But I could have used it for something else, but I was like, no, I gotta put the dragon book with Imagine Dragons. But, so, I have to do a new Romanceopoly roll. And if it works for Dragon Unraveled, perfect. If not, that'll kind of lead me where I'm going to potentially read for this coming weekend. So I'm going to do my Romanceopoly roll here and then come back and wrap up this week. Okay, so here we have the board, and we are on Soldier Street right there. So I will grab our clips or our cards. And my book so we can keep track of what we are rolling. So let's just get into it. So this is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Sleuth Street. All right. Okay, so this is one that we have not done according to my book. All right, so Sleuth Street. So there we have. So the generic prompt would be a thriller, which is, I still don't understand why they did thrillers here. because this is supposed to be Romanceopoly. But the more specific prompt, as you can see, is read a thriller or mystery where one of the main characters are a detective or a private investigator. Now, I am specifically going to not pick up a thriller book. I'm going to try to look for like a romantic suspense or like a cozy like rom-com mystery type thing. Like I want the romance to still be super prevalent in it. But I will try to find one that has either a detective or a private investigator main character, and then hopefully they are solving like a mystery or something like that. So I don't think I have anything off the top of my mind that this would work for, but I'm going to have to go through my prompts. So here we go. Unexpected, but that's what happens when you do things like this. So there you have it. My final Romanceopoly roll for the week of 2024. I'm excited to go through my list and see what might or might not work for this. And yeah, I have a lot of plans for this weekend. But the morning's already almost over at this point. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm just really happy to finally get some reading in, and that we finally ended things on a happier note, because I had a little run there of some not so good books that I was kind of struggling with. I don't think I've ever had this many 2 stars in a reading month, ever. But we'll see what happens. But thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to leave me a comment below, let me know if you're participating in Romanceopoly, because we're almost halfway through the year and I haven't really seen very much Romanceopoly posts out there. But you know, you still have time. They have easy ways, they have hard ways. There's lots of different options on how to do it. You could just go around the board once and then you just get what you get. You can do whatever you will with it, but I'm having fun, and I love having the big board that I had especially made at the FedEx Kinko's near me, and I'm just enjoying it. And if you'd like to leave me an emoji instead, leave me a board game icon or emoji, not icon, emoji. But otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon with another video.